so the singer can take a...
Oh, it's just because this is the worst mic ever, so
Right, sure.
barely cuts it. Unless you're like right on top of it.
Right, okay. All right.
Is that going to be
Doesn't
okay?
affect me anyway. So
Yeah.
what's going on?
Nara, Yama, Nananga Banjo, Joseph, Graf, Batsraja. Before I start, I'd just like to acknowledge the land we're meeting on here today. Dark and young country. I pay respects to those elders, them old fellas from the hills to the mountains, from the rivers to the sea, and just acknowledge that they've looked after this land for thousands of years before us and will continue to do so for thousands of years to come. I'd like to pay that respect to everyone here today, Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal, friend, family, whatever it is that you are connected, just show that respect to, and know that no matter what country that we're all from, that today this is our meeting point, acknowledging this country. Just got a couple of words. Galangu Jali, Yowe Banji, Yowe Gabanugo, Yowe Jali, Nara Baranga, Nanga Banji, Yowe. We're going to get the brothers up here to come and do a dance. This is one of our traditional dances. We call it Gari in Anami, and we use it as a farewell. And brothers and sisters, sorry. And we use this one as our farewell because we don't say goodbye, because we know that we'll always see them again. When we say goodbye to somebody, it means that you won't see them again. You go, this world, even if we'll see you again if it's this world or the next. So this one here is Gari and Nanami. Gari uncle! You! Galam! Bola! Gurabanda! Cup! Carring in the name, let your mobile on, carring in the name, carring in the name, let your mobile on, carring in the name, let your mobile on, carring in the name, let your mobile on, kaya mang mareng, kaya mang mareng, yagan gun gan gong, kaya mang mareng, yagan gun gan gong, kaya mang mareng, yagan gun gan gong, carrying in the name, carrying in the name, let your mobile on, carrying in the name, let your mobile on, hey! Galangu Jali, our warrior. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph, and all of the dancers. A wonderful way to begin our service today. I want to begin our service by drawing your attention to the back page of our order of service booklet, and on behalf of Michelle and Jason, to share with you the expression of thank you from their hearts that they want to say to each and every one of you here today, but obviously physically can't do that. And so on their behalf, our family would like to offer our heartfelt thanks. We have been nourished with your kindness. We would never be able to express enough gratitude for how you've held us close from near and far to provide our family with comfort and support. We love you all so dearly. Friends, if you happen to have your mobile phones with you in the auditorium, can I just invite you to switch them to silent through the service? Thank you. Also, at the end of our service, there will be an opportunity to continue sharing all those wonderful memories of Luca in the reception area in the middle there, and also the Tasman room. I'd invite you at the end of the service to leave the auditorium. There will be light refreshments served, and you're very, very welcome to purchase food and drinks from the bar. Well, I say welcome to each and every one of you here today. I want to extend a heartfelt thanks for all of you being here today as we come together to honour and celebrate the life of Luca J Bennett. This occasion serves not only as a time of mourning, but also a powerful reminder of the joy, the laughter, and the love that Luca shared so freely with all who know him, all who love him. Although we're grieving today, let us also take the time to reflect on the incredible moments and the experiences that you shared in life with Luca. We've gathered not just to say goodbye, but we're here to celebrate the vibrant spirit of a truly wonderful, wonderful person. Please let us take a moment's silence just to reflect. Bring to mind one of those special times that you treasure in your heart that you've shared with Luca. Let that sit with you through our service today. Thank you. Your presence here today is a testimony to the many lives that have been touched throughout Luca's life. It's an indication of how deeply Luca is loved and cherished, and today we gather to demonstrate that love in return. His life, though far too short, was full of love, was full of laughter, full of joy. While we mourn his tragic passing, we also give thanks for the joy and the inspiration that he brought to the lives of all who have known him and love him. Together, may we find comfort in one another and in the memories of those times that you have shared with Luca. I'd like to invite Jason, on behalf of Michelle, to share with us from some of those very precious memories.
Luca, our son, also known as Lou, Luca Jebediah, Lulu, Luca Puka, Big Guy, Luca J, Boo Man, Lucaso, and Lou the Glue. Lou the Glue came about after Luca was born at Gosford Hospital, March 2009. And with 5 children between Michelle and I, Luca was our number 6. And he has been the glue, has bonded our family ever since. For someone who ended up 6'6", Luca was a tiny 6 pounds at birth. He was destined to be huge in every way, personality, heart and talent. In his preschool years, I would often pick him up from daycare, and I remember a teacher calling out, "Is this Luca's jumper?" I replied, "Does it have a cut in the collar?" And she said no, and I replied, "Well, that's not his, because all his jumpers have a cut in them to get over his massive head." Luca went to school at Terrigal Primary School, then Terrigal High, and then a short stint at Central Coast Sports College, before being awarded a scholarship at the Scots College and moving to Bellevue Hill to board. We are so grateful to Miss Justine Collier for seeing in Luca what our family always knew and giving him the incredible opportunity to become a fine Scots boy. He was strong, kind, patient, and had a great sense of humour. He was loving, a deep thinker, caring, peaceful, a brilliant artist, a basketballer, and he had a great love of music with a broad genre. He was a great mate, and he had your back. Luca cared for not only his friends and family, but for his character was to care for all. I had a phone call from a teacher down at Glengarry, Mr. Potter, to tell me that they had witnessed Luca console a fellow student who was very distressed and really missing home. He went up and he put his arm around him and he said, "We'll get through this together." As parents, this made us feel so proud, and that's the kind of person we wanted to raise. And this made us just as proud as his sporting achievements did, if not more. Luca worked hard at school, but conveniently seemed to get sick during maths. He was proud of his Indigenous culture and taught himself with his Wiradjuri language when he was in primary school, which he was always wanting to share with people. He also loved his dance and didge group with his friend and mentor Joseph, who sung for us today. He worked hard for all his achievements. He would get up at the crack of dawn for training and he never complained. His dream was to play basketball professionally, but also be a carpenter like me. Definitely not a midwife. In his school holidays, he always had time to come and help me at work and earn a bit of money, which he spent on Ellie, his girlfriend. Luca had a humble, confident and wise presence. He stood very tall and strong with broad shoulders, the longest arms and legs from when he was little, which led us to call him the baby giraffe. Luca was always up for a chat, a hug and a laugh. Luca was blessed to have incredible mates in his life through school, basketball and mob, who always had his back and he had theirs. He stood true to the end with his best mates, Marley and Jesse, desperately tried to save his life. Thank you, boys. We wish we could mention all the names of Luca's mates, but there are far too many of you. You all know who you are and know how he loved you and his brothers and sisters. We are all also happy Luca got to experience true love with his beautiful girlfriend Ellie. Ellie and all of Ellie's beautiful family who we came to know and love will be part of our family forever. The last 6 months of Luca's life, he was away with the Scots College attending at Glengarry program in Kangaroo Valley, where the goal is to transfer boys into fine young men. Something after watching the transformation of Lou, we wished every child could have this experience. Our son went away a boy and truly came back a man, an even finer gentleman. And we will always be grateful to the Scots and the Glengarry teachers and staff, particularly Sir Stu, Mr. Potter and Sister Gemma. Luca made friendships and camaraderie that will last a lifetime. Mish and Luca had a very special times together and were often like brother and sister. I was the parent and the fun police, telling him to be quiet, turn that bloody music down, stop laughing, stop having fun late at night. The road trips they shared for basketball were epic, loud music and singing, air drums in the car, Mish having to squeeze into hotel room beds with the baby giraffe. All limbs everywhere, team dinners with the boys running amok and the parents having to keep them in check, and listening to the coaches will be memories carried forever. Mish and I would like to shout out to the amazing coaches who trained and guided Lou, especially Coach Phil, Coach Hamish, Coach Nick, Coach Luke, and Lou's brother-in-law, Mac. What we loved about Lou the most was how he loved his mum and dad, loved his mates, loved his girlfriend, loved his sister and brothers, loved his brother-in-laws Lynn and Mac and sister-in-laws Jasmine and Alyssa, loved his nephews Ellis and Gabrielle, Loved his aunties and uncles, loved his cousins, the Haynes and the Robinsons. Loved his Nana Gwen, Nana Nola and Grandma Jules. Loved his Pop Alan, Pop Andrew and Poppy Bob. I had so many amazing moments with my beautiful son. Afternoons on the beach, managing his North Avoca Nippers team, watching him play basketball and sharing our love of music, movies and the footy. I'm so grateful that I got to have a beautiful moment with my boy. On the last day, it'll last forever. I woke him up at 10 a.m, Christmas Eve. He was sleeping diagonally with his size 15 feet hanging off the end of the bed because they couldn't fit in. I wiggled his big toe to wake him up. Come on, mate, it's 10. Time to get up. All righty, he said. We got to make pancakes together in the kitchen that morning. And Lucas said, "Excuse me, Mum. Dad, I think I've fucked them up." We both looked at each other and just laughed. I can't get that image out of my head. It's so vivid. The image in my head of my Lou. 6'6", his broad and peeling shoulders in his new board shorts. A very big thank you to Ed Perry Lifeguard, North Avoca Patrol 4, Terrigal and Avoca Surf Clubs who risked their lives trying to save Lou. Can't thank you enough. After Luca had been missing for a few days, Alan Masters, Damien Alley found him and will be forever grateful to them. Luca's recovery may have been longer or may never have happened if it wasn't for these two who decided to search for Luca off their own bat. Close mates of mine, Blake and Schooner, they were out on the water that morning early, going back and forward, and they saw a pod of dolphins that were behaving unusual. And these guys have grown up by the coast, true fishos, and they were saying how weird that they were behaving. Normally they follow the boat. They stayed in a spot and were jumping out and slapping their bellies on the water, all of them. So they went back to that spot, and that was right out the front where Luca was found. Catherine Palmquist, my wife's dear friend, thank you. We will be forever grateful for you and your family and all that you have done for us. You're an amazing person who gave our family support and strength. You will always be a part of our family, and we will never forget how you have loved and supported us. To our Rebels basketball family and community, thank you for your organisation of the scrimmage, your love, your support, and keeping us well fed, and for the gift of retiring Luca's number 17 jersey. Forever Rebels. To Emma, power is your name and power is your strength. What would we have done without you? You're a force to be reckoned with, along with our darling cousin Cherie. Mish and I agree between you, Catherine and Cherie, should be running a country, not just our lives for the moment. Cherie, Todd and the girls, thank you. We are forever grateful. Thank you. My sister, my strength, thank you. I can't thank you enough. We want to also acknowledge and thank the police rescue, paramedics and community leaders who work tirelessly to support us while trying to bring our boy back to us. Luca had a brilliant life. True to the meaning of his name, he was bringer of light to all he encountered. He will fit a lifetime of love, laughter, happiness, experiences into 15 years. Although we would do anything to have him back, we believe he was here for a short but an impactful time, as he is on to bigger and brighter things wherever he is in the universe now. Michelle, you gave me our beautiful boy. I'm forever grateful to you, my beautiful green-eyed girl, my soulmate. I will stand by your side for the rest of my life and hold you in my arms, cry with you, laugh with you, dance in the kitchen, and sing with you as loud as we can. I will always see our Luca in you. Wherever Luca goes, I know he'll be okay. If there's a heaven, he'll be looked after by other loved ones we have lost. We find comfort in that Luca is with Grandma Jules, Uncle Brett, Nana Pat, and his dog Sonny. Seeing everyone here, the family, friends and community, gives Michelle and I strength, and the family, and comfort. I know that he has touched everybody with his infectious personality. We couldn't thank our family enough, our children Lauren, Jackson, Bailey, Kaylin and Jordan. We couldn't have gotten through this time without you beside us, telling stories of Luca, laughing, singing at the top of our voices, crying together, looking at photos, TikToks, videos, has given us strength and kept us strong and Luca's memory alive. Luca, Mum and I are so proud of you in every way and love you more than words can ever express, buddy. You were such a beautiful boy and became such a wise and gentle man, and you will never be forgotten, and we are so lucky we get to see a part of you and each of your brothers and sister. Finally, if we could truly offer any words of wisdom from this tragedy, is never blow time off with your kids. Hold them tight, hug them longer and tighter, and give them a second kiss before they leave you. And kids, do the same. Hug your parents a little tighter and longer. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Michelle. You know, we could have called this part a eulogy, which is a very formal word, but it means very simply a good word. And Jason, that's what you brought, about a beautifully good boy. Thank you. And I'd like to invite Lauren, Jackson, Bailey, Kaylin and Jordan to share with us.
Luca will forever hold a special place in my heart. He wasn't only my baby brother, he was the benchmark for what it means to live life to the fullest. Luca had the remarkable ability to make friends wherever he went, and not because he was the loudest or the most outgoing, but because he took a genuine interest in people, their stories, and provided deep loyalty. Although at times I was just his bossy older sister who caught plenty of eye rolls, we also shared a true sibling bond. Luca and I would prank, annoy, and antagonize each other, all the while having each other's backs, no matter what. I remember looking after him from time to time. I loved to spoil him, and each time I would always order takeout or let him eat whatever he wanted, no matter what artificial colorings or sugar-filled treat it was. I loved our time together. Luca loved his music. Whenever he was in the car with me, if I wasn't playing Coldplay, Frank Ocean, Jeff Buckley, or music that fit Luca's taste, he wouldn't hesitate to let me know just how poor my taste in music was. Luca was always in on a prank. At almost every family dinner, our brother Bailey started a now funny and essential family tradition in that he would take everyone's phone cases off their phones, reverse side, covering the screens. It was annoying. So naturally, Luca was quick to jump in on this, an opportunity to antagonize our largely OCD family, taking over this tradition as his own. Which means that when I, the unsuspecting, responsible older sister, did this to everybody's phones one night and waited patiently for our mum to finally yell, "Luca," which was then quickly met by, "Lauren did it," which was then met by me with just, "Luca and me, you did it," until I couldn't keep a straight face anymore and I confessed. I loved this playfulness with Luca. Another of his cheeky annoyances was just a light thing to taunt our OCD family. He would turn the fridge magnets in all the wrong directions, which of course I've continued this on his behalf while he was away at Glengarry, much to our parents' annoyance. But I had his back, so I had to do it for him. Luca had given my son, his little nephew, Ellis, haircuts. Mum and I would laugh every time at this because he was frustrated, complaining that this 4-year-old would not just sit still for him while he cut his hair. I think he just considered shaving it all off a few times. As much as he and I enjoyed this mutual antagonism and laughed at the annoyance we could bring to both each other and our family, he also had the biggest heart, full of love for his family, compassion for those who needed it, and happiness embracing challenges and never for a second giving up if things got difficult. When our grandma Jules was very ill and in hospital around Christmas time, Luca came in the ward dressed as Santa. He brought so much joy not only to our grandmother, but also to everyone who saw him, with one lady calling out to get a photo with him together. Some of my fondest memories are of how nurturing he was as an uncle, right from the beginning. When Ellis was only a baby, Luca would play with him, give him bottles, find all kinds of basketball-attired clothing to dress him in, and would read him countless stories. When it came to basketball, I loved watching his games whenever I had the privilege to get to one. I loved watching him play a sport that he truly lived and breathed. Despite my not understanding much about the game, I enjoyed every moment of it, and I would simply cheer when others cheered, with the perfect facade that I knew exactly what was happening and praying I was cheering for the right team. It was no different at home either. When we were hooping around in the driveway, Luca was not one to appease. He would just move at lightning speed, laughing at how tragically poor my athletic ability is. Luca's name means bringer of light, and that is how I'll always remember him, as someone who brought light into the lives of everyone he knew and encountered.
Dear Luca, it's hard to put into words how much you meant to me. One of my favourite memories from when you were 6 months old, when you were first learning to sit upright, I would put 3 cushions around you, sit you up, and then you'd wobble and look at me with that big beautiful smile of yours until you toppled over onto one of the cushions. And then we'd do it all over again, laughing. Even back then, when you were so little, you brought so much joy into the simplest things. We had so many plans, Luca. I was excited to go climbing with you again soon, alongside Bailey. And we talked about going camping together. Once you got back from Glengarry, I was excited for you to show me all the bushcraft skills you'd learned, and couldn't wait to share with you the things I knew. You were also really excited to show me your pocket knife. The last time I saw you was when we went to get our annual Santa photos, a tradition we've kept for Mum every year since we were kids. We always said we'd keep doing them until you turned 18, but deep down I think we knew we'd keep going until Ellis and Gabrielle turned 18 as well. That day you showed me the little tuft you've been growing recently under your chin, and you told me you were trying out a new look, Jack. Then you tugged on my beard and flashed me that signature smart-ass smile. When I picture you in my mind, it's that moment that I see, and that's how I'll remember you the most. Luca, I miss you more than I can say, but I'll carry your memory with me every day, and I'll always smile when I think of how you used to call me Jackin when you were little, like a toddler, because you couldn't say my name right. That nickname stuck. Even now, my dad still calls me Jackin. It's just one of the many ways you'll always be a part of me. I miss you, Lou. I'll remember you always. Love for your big brother, Jackin.
Thank you all for being here. I've written Luca a letter. To Luca, my beautiful little brother, you've unknowingly taught me a lesson I never wanted, but always needed. I remember those mornings at the house on Cotty Crescent when you were just 10 years old. I was lost in my world of university essays and deadlines. I'd be planning the day ahead when Mum would ask me to walk you to school. Back then it felt like a chore, a distraction. Now my mind is desperately scrambling for every small moment we shared. What I once saw as an interruption, I now know as a gift. Luca, I'm so proud of you. You grew into such an extraordinary person. Your artistic curiosity showed in every drawing. Your sportsman's determination carried through every game. And your easygoing sense of humour that could light up any room. Excuse me. I wish I had known then what I understand now, that those ordinary moments with you would become my most precious memories. These weren't just routines to get through, but opportunities to be present with each other. It's not your leaving that has my mind spiraling in despair, my body stuck in a terrified stillness. It's the sudden silence, knowing we will never share another moment. Pulled beneath the surface, you're gone too soon. Despite this grief and all of its idiosyncrasies, you've given me the most valuable lesson: to cultivate every connection with loving awareness. Now I understand that true gratitude isn't found in grand gestures, but in the quiet attention we give to one another. Though you're gone, this lesson lives on in how I embrace every relationship, every moment, with those still here. You are my motivation to extend my hand in the fleeting moments of vulnerability and connection. Thank you, little brother, for this final, precious gift. With endless love from a broken heart, Bailey.
I was apprehensive to speak today as I wasn't sure whether I would have the strength to stand in front of you all and deliver exactly what I wanted to say about my brother Luca, also known as our family as Boo Man. So bear with me as I try and make my way through the next few minutes. I know I need to make this brief as you hear the last message from our crazy Brady Bunch family. Lou the Glue, a line that will forever be imprinted in all of our minds. I still remember when I got the call that Geordie and I had another baby brother. I was at my auntie's place, who's somewhere here in the room today, in Canberra, as the landline was handed to me to receive the exciting news that Luca J Bennett was born. Pretty sure I said 2 words and raced back to the Nintendo to finish my game of Mario Kart with my 4 cousins and brother Geordie, as any 9-year-old would. I think both my brother and I were slightly envious he had dad all to himself, but at the same time excited we had a 3rd to the Bennett clan and a 6th to our big family. Our Lou the Glue. He really was a representation of 2 worlds colliding and a spitting image of Dad and Mish, often referred to as my twin, yet 9 years apart. Sorry. Today I want to share with you just 2 of the many moments my brother and I shared together and what it has taught me as a brother, son and man. One from toddler Luca and one from more recent times. Thought I'd start with something a bit light-hearted, more of the request of Dad and Mish. Luca was often referred to as the perfect contraceptive device. He was sent downstairs to spy and annoy my then girlfriend at the time, who's somewhere in the room, and myself to ensure we were on our best behaviour. One trip downstairs, Luca, aka James Bond, returned to inform the family that nothing was going on, but wondered why I was apparently smelling my girlfriend's hair. You can imagine the torment I received from my parents and the rest of my siblings here today, still to this day. Yet angry at the time, you all know with that infectious and cheeky smile, the angst quickly diminished. So thanks for that, Lou. The last story I want to touch on is the moment a photo was taken that I'm sure many of you have seen in recent weeks on my social media. The photo is a true depiction of a younger and older brother. Luca looking at me in annoyance and me looking at him as to say, hey, listen or else. My parents have always taught us children to look at the lessons you can take out of every situation in life. As you can all imagine, over the last 3 weeks, we have all struggled to find any sort of lesson or reason to move forward with life without our Lou. Yesterday, when walking into our family home, surrounded by loved ones, and now looking at you all today, it came to me. That day, in that photo, Luca, like any teenager, had no interest in hanging out with his big brother or his parents, and kept insisting to go out with his friends. Never did I think this would come to be one of the last opportunities to spend time with my little brother it would be. I myself, like everyone in this room, are guilty of being slack with family and loved ones. If this has taught me anything in life, and it should for you all too, is to hold those you love tight. Always make sure you make time for family, and always, no matter what, be there for your siblings and loved ones, as you never know when the last hug or kiss is just around the corner. I know him leaving us will bring us all closer as siblings, mothers, fathers, cousins, grandparents, friends, and the whole community that Luca touched. This is what I will hold on to and cherish forever. He really was, and still is, Lou the Glue. Luca was certainly our little brother, the bottom of the pecking order, but I know he's towering over me 6'6" somewhere in this room. So I just want to say, Luca, I love you. I'm so blessed and honoured to call you my little brother. I'm so proud of the man you became, and I'm so sorry I didn't get to say one last goodbye. But now you can rest easy, our Boo Man.
The moment I heard Luca was born, I cried. I had a phone call from Dad to let me know that Luca J Bennett was born when I was 7 years old. In that moment, I knew I was no longer the baby of the family, and the baton had been passed to Lou the Glue, who combined our mixed Brady Bunch family between my beautiful stepmom Michelle and her 3 beautiful children, Lauren, Jackson, Bailey, and my father and his 2 boys, Kaylin and I, who I stand here next to without our 6th sibling, the glue and bringer of light, as his name Luca reads. I went from being the baby brother of the family to an older brother who fell in love with it. In Luca's younger years, the 5 of us gave him baths. We played, ran, swam, danced, sang, built sandcastles, cooked marshmallows on the bonfires we had, played hide and seek, and spent endless hours jumping on the trampoline. I put him in boxes and baskets and carried him around and made sure he always felt loved. These were some of my fondest early memories together. One afternoon when we were young, home from a family picnic, Luca was trying to push past me to get up the stairs. I told him to wait, but he refused, yelling and still trying to push past the heavy esky I was trying to carry upstairs. So I gently, but forcefully, knocked him down the stairs with said esky like bowling pins, ironically teaching him a lesson about patience and pecking order. And yes, I was in big trouble for that one, which I'm sure he was happy about, and would constantly use that as we grew up as a get out of jail free card. For instance, I would ask, "Hey Luca, can you turn the TV down a bit?" And he would say, "What if I don't? Are you going to throw me down the stairs?" And we would laugh. Little did I know he would become my mini best mate, who I loved to watch grow up and come into his own. If I could trade places with you, Luca, I would. This whole tragedy, up until this day, since Christmas Eve, has all combined into one long nightmarish day. Life is just not fair sometimes. Today, that long day ends, and Luca's life is rightfully celebrated, respected, and mourned. You can rest now, little brother. The long day may be over, but the days, weeks, months, and years ahead will be hard for us all. But I know you will be there with us every step of the way. Life is unfair, tough, short, and hard, but life is also beautiful. So in Luca's honor, I ask you all to reflect on your relationships with friends and family and try to make the most of every moment with those close to you, because you never know when it could be the last hug or I love you. Luca and I had a special bond. From deep chats and catch-ups about school, sports, architecture, music, and his social life. We constantly sent photos and video updates of our day-to-day lives, from beautiful scenes to double-chin selfies or a middle finger. I kept a close eye on him and gave him brother advice, but I always respected his decisions and knew he would make the right ones. I had 3 golden rules once he was a teenager. Dad and Mish, close your ears first. They read as follows: 1, no drugs. 2, wear protection. And 3, if you're drinking and take it too far, always message or call me, which he always did. We would talk of his dreams and plans for his future, one of which was to move overseas and work together with me in Europe, traveling. I promise to continue that life of travel and exploration in your honor for you, Luca, and take you along for the ride. His achievements were beyond those of your average 15-year-old, as you all know, from his artwork to his athleticism, his witty and theatrical Bennett humour, and his ability of excellence and resilience. The sheer number of people he touched and connected with, and continues to touch and influence, is a testament to his character and natural talent. I am so proud of you and to have been your brother for your short but beautiful life. It was an honor and a blessing. He was a great friend and kind to everyone from all walks of life, the perfect son and the best brother anyone could ask for. Brothers are what best friends can never be. Brothers are close, but knit together and bound by family and blood. I can't wait to one day walk to the top of the stairs in heaven and you finally get to push me down the stairs, and I'll walk back up and give you a long-awaited hug and hear your laugh again and see your beautiful smile. Luca may not always be by our side anymore, but he will always be in our hearts. I love you, Boo Man. Rest easy.
Thanks, guys. You've shared beautiful memories with us, and we're told that those memories are etched on our heart. There's nothing or anybody who can take those memories from you. They're with you always. Thank you for sharing some of those with us. And each of us gathered here who have known Luca, you also would hold precious memories in your heart. So let's take a little moment now listening to a piece of music, and as the music's playing, let those memories come flooding back. continuing sharing with their memories. On behalf of Luca's cousins, I'd like to invite Cherie along with Ellie to share with us. Thank you.
For those that don't know me, I'm Cherie, I'm Mish's cousin. I absolutely loved every moment that I got to spend with Lou. We moved to the coast about 10 and a half years ago, and that's when my girls and Lou got to have some really good cousin time together. I have many cool memories of Lou. One of my favourite was our time in Hawaii together, just Lou, Mish and myself. Lou and I sitting on the net of the catamaran, laughing together after we went swimming with sea turtles, us also cutting off his arm cast so he could go swimming at the waterfall. We were just loving life. Every time Lou saw me, he'd try and do what all the cool young kids say, do a dap up. I always got it wrong. He was never embarrassed to walk across a crowded shopping centre with his mates and give me a big hug, and I'll miss those hugs. He promised me when he was a famous basketballer he'd not forget his old cousin Cherie. I promise I'll never forget you, Luca. Love you always and forever, our baby giraffe. I'm going to read on behalf of my girls. Zali, Luca, I'll miss our love-hate relationship and how we would always make fun of each other, but always knew it was just a joke and it was just one of our little things. I love how Luca would always act like an older brother to me and stand up for me if anything wrong would happen. Every single memory I have of Luca, I'll forever keep them close to my heart. I'll always miss you and love you. Love from your little cousin. Chloe, Luca, I'm so glad we shared so many memories, laughs and adventures together. You were someone who made my life brighter and happier for everyone. Growing up together, some of our memories are tied to the times us girls spent together with you, like at nippers, school or family gatherings. I'm so proud of how far you have come in life and will continue to always be proud of you. To my dear cousin Luca, I will forever miss you and love you always, Chloe. Sophie. Luca was more than just a cousin. He was the brother I never had. His laughter could light up any room. It was that infectious, and his kindness had a way of making even the toughest days feel manageable. There was never a bad moment with Luca. I'll always cherish the memories we created together, the days spent at the beach when we were little, the visits he made to my workplace, those drives we took where we talked about life and laughed, and the banter that defined our bond. Family gatherings with him were always filled with pranks and laughter that brought us closer, and where we created some of our best memories. His presence will always be felt in our lives. I will think of him in every ocean and carry him with me every day. I love him always and I will miss him forever. Sophie.
A tribute on behalf of the extended Bennett family. Luca was our much-loved grandson, nephew, and cousin. Because we all lived so far apart, our physical time with Luca was not always often, but it was because of the distance that made the time we did spend with him so quality. When asked for favourite memories, multiple members of our family have mentioned Luca's hugs. Those long limbs of his were always wide open when arriving to see us or when we arrived to see him. He was taller than everyone, but he still went in for a good hug. As his cousins, our best memories with Luca, as well as Kaylin and Jordan, are at Nana Gwen and Pop Andrew's house in Mollymook every Christmas holidays. Beach trips, sleepovers, movie nights, hanging on the deck, most often laughing at Uncle Jay's musical performances, and endless board games are some of the fondest memories of our entire lives.
As the youngest two of the bunch, Luca and I would often get up to a lot of mischief down the coast. Despite being the tallest by a mile, Luca and I were forced to sleep on the living room floor while the rest of the family had bedrooms. We'd stay up watching movies, laughing, being silly until the late hours of the night. We would then march down the hallway in the morning, blaring our music on a loudspeaker, of course which we had very similar taste, and Nana Gwen would of course join in on the dancing when we arrived to the kitchen. Nana Gwen was always a target for Luca and all us boys. We would pretend there were spiders in the house and send her into an absolute panic. We would press the fire alarm button so there was a really loud beep and she'd freak out. And Luca would always imitate the way she pronounced Family Feud when suggesting we play the board game. Family Feud? Luca and I would venture down to the Mollymook basketball courts during the day. Luca would absolutely destroy me and just laugh at how useless I was. But he also took the time to teach me how to take the perfect shot. Flick of the wrist. We would become so much like brothers after hanging out for long periods of time that we would actually get sick of each other. But the next minute, we would be best mates again. Love you, Lou.
Luca was also often the culprit of missing sugary food. We have a video of Nana asking everyone, "All right, who opened the clinkers?" after we had been there only for a couple of hours. Last Christmas holidays, someone had bought a box of ice creams. By the end of the day, there was only 1 out of the 4 ice creams left in the freezer. Yes, Luca had eaten all 3 of those ice creams in one day. This would have been on top of the many chocolates from the favourites box he probably had across breakfast, lunch and dinner. Every time we saw Luca, it seemed he had grown another insane amount. It was only last Christmas Day that we were laughing at the size of his shoes in comparison to the shoes of us girls. It is so easy to recall so many great memories with Luca, as he was truly such a ball to be around. Not only that, but he was kind, loving and interested in the lives of all of his family. Many of us had watched him play a game of basketball in the last 12 months. Our Nana Nola was so amazed by his skills that she described him as a 6'5" inner point guard demon. We were also proud of what he was achieving at his young age. Well, Luca, the final whistle may now have blown, but we know you will be playing up there while watching over us all forevermore. We will all miss you so much, we already do. We love you and will celebrate you for the rest of our time. Thank you for bringing such joy to your family. Love you, Lou.
Luca's trainer and mentor in basketball, his brother-in-law, Mac Viahay.
First of all, I just want to thank both Mish and Jay for having me up here with my family. Through it all, you've accepted me, and your love has always been unwavering. And I'm here, and my family's here because of Luca. So Luca and Josiah, so they met through D-League back in January 2022. They were both put together in a very stacked team. That team went undefeated in D-League, and it was just unfair. It was a great team, and you know what stood out to me the most about Luca was obviously his size and his athleticism. And yeah, just fast forward 8 months later, back in August 2022, Mish sat down next to me during another basketball event. It was the TAP camp, and she asked whether I was Josiah's dad, and she mentioned that she was Luca's mother, and then we kicked on from there. That was a beginning of a wonderful relationship, and little did I know what I was going to gain through that encounter. So I got to know Luca well as I was coming up the coast a lot. To spend time with his beautiful sister Lauren. But yeah, we would train early mornings, 6 a.m. at Breakers Stadium. It was both difficult and rewarding for the both of us, and I got to see his competitive side and just how raw he was. So just to put into perspective, he was making all these elite basketball programs on top of reps, and he wasn't even playing to his ability. I'd seen what he can do, spending a lot of time one-on-one, and when I actually got to see him play properly, it's just like, man, this kid's not even using half of his skill set. So just goes to show you his potential. And it's kind of sad that we're never going to know, but he had a lot hidden in him, but I'm so grateful to have spent the time with him, and I'm also really grateful that he got to spend a season playing in the same rep team as my son just this past year. So he spent a season at Nords. It was a challenging year for both Luca and Josiah, for both their personal reasons, but they both finished the season strongly. In particular, Luca, after our visit down to Victoria, playing in the National Junior Classic, he was really just coming to his own. It's just showing us glimpses of what he was capable of. And I'm confident, given the right time and trust from his coaches, he would have even better. But at least we got to see that bit. At least he got to close out the season. He missed the last bits of it because of Glengarry, but that team went on to as runners up in the state championships. So they did so well with everything. So Luca was a big part of that. And I'm just so grateful to be here, because I wouldn't be here without Luca. He truly is Lou the glue. He's brought my family here and a lot of the basketball community within New South Wales. Even the prestigious Scots College is here. It's all in honour of this, beautiful young man. And I'm just so grateful to have been part of it. I'm grateful for the time we got to spend together. I'm grateful that I got to see him one last time just before Christmas. We had such an amazing time, and he'd just come back from Glengarry, had an amazing tan, and his shoulders was so broad, and he was a man. Like, man, all the stuff we were talking about, I can't say much of it, but it was cool. It was real cool, and I'm forever grateful, and I thank God that Luca was placed in that D-League team with Josiah, because I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't get to experience all the love and support that that was around Luca. And you guys being here today is just a testament to how he was as a person. And like I said, I'm grateful, and my family is also. And thank you all to the Bennetts, the Tinters, everyone for accepting me and my family. And yes, thank you, Lou. miss you, and I'll see you again one day, brother. Thank you all.
To bring our tributes to a close, but by no means the celebration of Luca's life, Luca's much-loved primary school teacher and mentor, Shana Tosovic.
I almost wore my contact lenses, but Luca told me I look like a weirdo with contacts, so I put my glasses on this morning. So almost 6 years ago, I was introduced to my incredible midwife, Mish. Mid-contraction, Mish was flicking through my paperwork when I heard, "Oh wow, are you a teacher at Terrigal Public School?" My eyes widened. I took a deep breath and I thought, "Are you kidding me?" I am. Mish went on to tell me that her son, Luca Bennett, went to Terrigal Public and was in Year 4. Given my state of vulnerability, I reluctantly went on to share. "No way, I teach Year 5. Another contraction or two went by, along with some yarns. "I'm going to request that you get Luca in Year 5. We had a laugh, I gave birth, and then I left the hospital. 11 months later, I returned to work, and at the top of my class list in 5-6T 2020 was Luca Bennett. So my name is Shana Tosovic, but Luca and all the kids know me as Mrs. T. I was Luca's Year 5 teacher. From the first day of class, my connection with Luca was pretty unique. I mean, how many students can say that their mum delivered their teacher's baby? Luca was pretty chuffed by this and had mastered the art of distraction by getting me to share stories about my boys. Story time with Mrs. T, as the class had named it. It had a habit of popping up when writing lessons and maths lessons were taking place. Never during art or PE, funny that. My connection with Luca was strengthened by the pride we both shared for our culture, along with our common sense of humour, wit and competitive nature. Luca was an incredibly talented artist, often helping his peers refine their artistic ability. The girls used to line up at his desk when I couldn't help, and he'd help them with their art. He was a determined and committed athlete, particularly when it came to his beloved basketball. He was hilariously cheeky and one of the most empathetic, caring and wise little big legends that I have ever been honoured to teach. Luca could walk into any classroom and light up the room with his personality. On his way in, he would often jump and hit the doorway with his fingertips, leaving a trail of his much shorter peers behind him, trying to do the same. I'm pretty sure there's his fingerprints all over that doorway. The girls loved him, the boys wanted to be his mate, and I had all the time in the world for him as his teacher. Luca was a natural leader and he didn't need a title for it. I loved that the mutual respect that we had for one another meant that I could always be straight with him. Before casual teachers would come onto the class, I would eyeball him. "Luca, behave yourself." He would look at me with that cheeky grin. "Luca?" Then he would giggle as if to say, "Mrs. T, it's all right, I've got this." When I would barter with him for the reward of dodgeball, he was the best behaved student this side of the Blue Mountains. Dodgeball at Terrigal Public School is ruthless, and Luca loved dodgeball. He loved it even more when I would step onto the court. I think he felt like it was his chance at payback for all those writing and maths lessons, when in fact he didn't realise that I used it as an opportunity for payback myself. He knew that I played with no mercy, and almost every game that year was filled with competitiveness, laughter, and Luca trying to land one on me. Headshots were banned, but over the course of that year, Luca and I copped a few accidental headshots. I remember a time when he and I were the only ones left in the game. Luca versus Mrs. T. The competition was real, layered with bouts of laughter, of course. After a fierce rally, some banter, and my watch reminding me to calm down, the little big bugger got me in the end with that weapon of an arm. The class roared in support of Luca, well, mostly the boys, because the girls always had my back. Luca and I both looked at each other with the cheekiest grins, and he humbly gave me the biggest bear hug, basically around my head, because even in year 5 he was bigger than me. One of my favourite memories of Luca is when I would teach about Aboriginal histories and cultures. Luca would step into the role of peer tutor and be my wingman. The way he shared his cultural knowledge and stories with the class with such pride, wisdom, confidence and poise would have his peers and I completely engaged. And it made me so proud to be his teacher. I will forever be grateful for our ancestors for first bringing Mish into my life to deliver my baby, and second, out of the hundreds of students at Terrigal Public School, have Luca land in my class. I'm assuming Mish didn't actually make that request. Fate. As cliche as it sounds, I got into teaching to make a difference to my students, but never did I imagine though that they would make a huge difference to me. On the last day of school with Luca in 5-6T, he picked his timing and sheepishly wandered over with a gift for me. He had a new grin on his face this time. This one was a mixture of his usual cheekiness, but it was also layered with love. He handed me the gift, hugged my head, and said, "Thanks for an amazing year, Mrs. T. I'm going to miss you." I opened it, and there were 2 gifts inside. They were the perfect representation of our connection, a mix of culture, humour, respect, love and gratitude. Gift number 1, a coffee mug, as he knew that I couldn't get through the morning without a cuppa. And here's the comedy. It had "That's the tea, sis" printed on it. When I opened this one and read it aloud, we both laughed. And gift number 2, my favourite, a hand-painted canvas by Luca that has a special place on my wall at home. The canvas features our shared country and totem, Wiradjuri country, and the Gugar, otherwise known as the Goanna, the Aboriginal flag, the words "leading elder" and "teacher" in Wiradjuri language, and Luca's autograph. As I stood in front of Luca and processed the thoughtfulness of his gift, a tear rolled down my cheek, and I looked up to see him wipe his own tear. That memory will stay with me forever. These stories are just a glimpse of who Luca was: a talented artist, a gifted sportsman, witty, cheeky and lovable, a terrible dancer, funny and resilient, wise beyond his years, caring, empathetic and nurturing, culturally strong and a natural born leader. Luca was a boy's boy, but he had this soft side to him where he would do anything for anyone to support them in need. Rest peacefully in the dreaming, Luca. So much love for you, little big legend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. T. In so many ways, photos have a way of capturing moments of love, laughter, the essence of a person in ways that words can fail to do. We're told that a picture paints 1,000 words. We'll take some time now to watch a compilation of photographs, a collection of cherished memories that will tell the story and all whose lives have been part of that story. As we watch, let's take the time to reflect on the incredible legacy that Luca leaves with each and every one of you.
I hate to feel the love between us down, but it's over. Just hear this and then I'll go. You gave me more to live for, more than you'll ever know. Well, this is our last embrace. Must I dream and always see your face? Why can't we overcome this war? Baby, maybe it's just because I didn't know you at all. Kiss me, please kiss me. Kiss me out of desire, baby, not consolation. Oh, you know it makes me so angry, 'cause I know that in time I'll only make you cry. This is our last goodbye. Did you say, no, this can't happen to me? Did you rush to the phone to call? Was there a voice uncurrent in the back of your mind saying, maybe you didn't know him at all? You didn't know him at all. Oh, you didn't know. Oh, you didn't know. Well, the bells out in the church tower chime, the burning cruising to this heart of mine, thinking so hard on a soft eye, and the memories of our sides that it's
Friends, just as you're able, can I invite you please to stand? According to an Australian Aboriginal proverb, we are all visitors to this time, this place. We are just passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home. It was at around 3 in the afternoon of Tuesday and Christmas Eve, while walking with his mates on the rocks, something that he had done so many times throughout his years. Luca was tragically swept into the waters by a large wave. although his body was unable to be found and then retrieved for several days after. His body, his resting place beneath the waves throughout that time, was shielded by a pod of dolphins. The dolphins remained with Luca until his body was found and retrieved. Dolphins in Indigenous culture are honoured as protectors of humans. They did not leave his body until it was returned to his family, and it was only then, when Luca's body was lifted from the waters, that they swam away. And so as we prepare to say our goodbyes to Luca, our thoughts turn to his loved ones, to those who are with us today, those who are unable to be here with us. We think especially of Michelle and Jason. You're surrounded by family who love you dearly, by this multitude of people, some of whom you know, but many you probably have never met. They care for you dearly, and they love Luca dearly. It's my prayer that you will find strength in that love that you hold together as family, as friends, and of course, for Luca. With heavy hearts, but rejoicing in the gift that Luca has been to all who have known him and love him, we now lovingly, reverently, and affectionately commit his mortal body to the elements. May he rest in peace. Luca rests reunited with his loved ones who have gone before him and with Sonny, his lifelong furry friend. May we carry Luca's spirit in our hearts and honour his memory by embracing the beauty of life just as he so often did. Please be seated. Friends, I invite you to remain seated now until the end of our service. I invite the pallbearers to please come forward. I also invite any of Luca's mates who wish to come forward and to form a guard of honour down the aisle of the auditorium and around to the hearse. Any of his mates who would like to do that, please do that now. I'm sorry, we do. As you're gathering together in the aisle, we have Miller, who's going to sing as her tribute a very special and beautiful song, Godspeed. Please continue gathering into the aisle.
Let go of my claim on you. It's a free world. The table is prepared for you. I let go of my claim on you. It's a free world. You might always have this place to call home. Always, you'll always have this place to call home. Always, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love. Thank you very much. That was Luca's favourite song.
Thank you, Miller. Friends, again, Luca's family would love for you to remain after the service out in the gathering area to continue sharing all those wonderful memories together. These beautiful flowers that have been on Luca's coffin will be taken out into that area, and at the invitation of Michelle and Jason, please feel free to take a flower as a keepsake, a token of the love that you hold in your heart for Luca. We won't think of Luca as gone away. His journey's just begun. Life holds so many facets, and this earth is only one. Just think of him as resting with family and his peers, now in a place of peace and joy where there are no days, no years. Think how he'd be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of him as resting in the hearts of those he's touched. For no one loved is ever lost, and Luca is loved so very much.